Abrams about it in the last podcast I did. I'm banned on CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News. Why?
Banned? Like, you're officially banned.
Yeah. So when I ran for president, we hired like the top PR guy who's the best at getting on cable news. He's like, don't pay me. CNN, MSNBC, hard ban. You're not allowed on. Fox News, I'm not positive about. But then when Jesse Waters books me, I get unbooked 2 hours later.
Wow.
In this video, Cenk Uygur joins Andrew Schulz and Charlamagne the God on the Brilliant Idiots podcast. They talk about why the left turned on him and why he's now somehow banned from every major news network. And by the end of this convo, he gives us even more reasons to question the woke left. Like, if that's even possible.
I've been booked and unbooked on CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News a dozen times.
Wow.
I got to a point where I was like, go check with your manager. Like, don't bother.
Why do you think? Why do you think that is?
Because I tell people, don't obey. Don't obey. Okay.
What if they obey you, though?
That's a good idea.
As a Corinne Jean-Pierre said, we need to be clear-eyed and questioning rather than blindly loyal and obedient,
Yes.
as we may have been in the past. My God, Joe.
But you know why she says that?
She's in the power.
Because, no,
Well, that's also
Exactly.
got a book coming out.
Exactly.
Just like Sapper.
but because she used to blindly obey. And that was the culture. Like
Yes.
in the Democratic Party, if you don't blindly obey, you're a heretic. You love Trump. We're going to smear you. We're going to say, I mean,
Yeah.
So why should we listen to any of those people now?
Jake, we went through it. Charlamagne and I went through it.
he knows.
Oh, yeah, you know. I mean, you probably went through the same thing. It's just the idea of being at all critical of the party. There's just this slew of epithets that they're throwing your direction. They're making you all, radioactive. And
By the way, I didn't even know I was part of the party. Just because I voted Democrat a few times, I didn't know I was a part of the party. I actually got pissed off yesterday when I was voting for New Jersey primary governor, and they was like, you have to check one of these two boxes. And they just said Democrat or Republican. I'm like, well, what the fuck? Why? What does that even matter? I just want to vote.
yeah.
yeah. Actually, the majority of the country is independent now, right?
They didn't even have that as an option.
I know.
That's primary.
Meaning they identify as it, or they're registered.
Right.
They
Well,
identify.
one primary or the other.
Not in California, but yeah, in New Jersey.
Not in
Yeah. Because they're saying if you're a Democrat, you get to vote in the Democratic primary. If you're an independent, well, you're not a Democrat, so you don't get.
So you don't get to vote.
So that was a little bit more on.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, just for the primary situation.
Got you.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, and I'm teasing, but like, what do you do in those circumstances if like you're preaching this message of do not obey, which I do agree with you, by the way. So are you essentially like, hey, when you guys are disseminating information, are you going, hey, check us, like, make sure that what we're saying is something that you agree with, and if you don't agree with it, like, are you promoting that to your audience? Do you feel like that
no.
ethos is important?
No, I'm Turkish. I'm in charge. Okay. No,
We came first.
I know it sounds like a silly question, but like,
it's not at all. And
I love the ethos, but it is a tricky position that you're in because I imagine the way that you feel about the world, you think would benefit the most people, which is probably not dissimilar to most journalists or political figures. So we're in this tricky situation where you're like, fuck, if you trust me, I think the world will be better. But at the same time, don't blindly trust me.
no, actually, it's kind of easy.
Okay.
We've been saying it from day one. Don't trust us. Go verify.
I love it.
Okay.
Love it.
And so the reason is, I already looked it up.
Yeah.
I know that
So you'll also see it. You have confidence in that.
And then you'll
Got it.
say, oh, they were right, and then you have more trust in us.
But you're banking on your audience to do something that most people don't do, and that's research.
That's true, and then it came back to bite us. So which I'll tell you about in a second. But first, I love Grok. You know the thing that Elon.
Yes.
The reason I love Grok is because I look things up first.
Immediately.
Right, and then I put it on X, and then the right wing's like, "Oh yeah, Grok, is this true?"
Oh, wait a minute. You'll grok before you post.
No, I'll just look it up.
Got it.
I already know.
It's
I thought you say Gronk. I was like, why would you trust Gronk?
shit.
Gronk? Gronk?
Checking Grok.
What is Gronk?
It's ChatGPT for Twitter.
Got you. Okay.
Okay, so I have like a 98% record on Grok.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm like, just look it up. Just
Yeah.
look it up, right?
Yeah.
Stop bullshitting people.
Yeah.
So that's how I do it. But how did it backfire? Well, we taught people to disobey so much that our own host then turned on us in 18 different ways. Okay. So this guy, Dave Rubin, left the network, and he's gay and liberal and all this stuff.
Yeah.
He leaves, he first does something that doesn't work, and then he's looking for work, and some conservative probably came by and offered him a ton of cash. And all of a sudden, he's a right winger. And he's like, oh, Young Turks did this, and Young Turks are terrible, and they do that. And I'm like, that's the first time it happened. I was like, whoa, what the fuck is this? Like nothing he's saying is true.
So these are
making
big
it up.
shots. You're saying that this person is inauthentically creating content here.
I know
Doing it for the bag. That's what it comes.
Yeah, so that was the agreement. Then another host, Jimmy.
You think he's actually gay?
I didn't check. I don't know. That's his business, not my business.
He said, I didn't check.
No, his husband also worked with it. So
His husband also. So you verified. Yeah. The young jerks.
that's a different thing. A different thing. Okay, that's led by Chunky Yogurt.
That's how you get the chunky yogurt? Chunk that motherfucker.
Okay, so you have people that start to leave.
Yeah, so then Jimmy Dore leaves. He says something mean, etc. Now we got what I would call the radical left that attacks us. Okay, so we said disobey, and they listen. So they're like, okay, now we're disobeying you, and we think. And I don't put down any rules. I just say there's three. Okay, well, let me
What do you
amend
call
that.
disobedience?
Yeah. Is it possible that they just have a difference of opinion, and if they might have some merit to their opinion?
Yeah, like what is disobedience?
Yeah, no chance. Okay, no, seriously, we have three rules at TYT, okay?
Yeah.
One is no lies. I don't care if you think it's going to match your ideology, you're not allowed to play around with the facts,
Yeah.
okay? Number two is no call for violence, nothing physical. Like we go protest, we're super loud, but we're always peaceful, civil disobedience, do it the right way, the civil rights way, okay? And number three is don't talk shit publicly about your fellow TYT hosts and staff, okay?
Makes perfect sense.
Okay, so that makes sense, right? So what do they start doing? So they disagree with me. No problem. We have like 30 hosts. Well, all of them disagree with me to some degree, right? Good. Some of them disagree a lot. So we have people who are very far left. We got people who are pretty centrist, and we got the whole left wing covered.
Great.
Right? So that's perfect. And we have fights like crazy. We got Ben Glebe, who's pro-Israel. Me and him yell at each other on air. We got Jordan and a whole bunch of other guys who are far left on some issues like transports and stuff. And we yell at each other, but we're good. We go on to the next story and we do it and we have fun and we laugh. It's good. It's all good, right? Some people are like, no, you're not allowed to disagree on transports. Well, what does that mean? I'm not allowed to disagree. They're like, no, the correct position is that if you care about vulnerable communities and trans people, you must say that they should be allowed to play professional sports.
No, fuck out of here.
And if you don't, you're being disobedient, and they will say things like, oh, well, that's because you weren't educated. There's some books, you should read these books, right? And if you read those books, you would know that we were right. And so, you should apologize to us for disagreeing with us. I'm like, no, I'm not going to apologize to you for disagreeing. What are you, nuts?
Yeah.
So then the other day I had to say, she's just a contractor. She wasn't an employee or anything, but she was one of our hosts. She'd come on regularly. I liked her. And we had a good personal relationship and stuff. And we disagree over the tiniest things like transports. She comes out there and starts making videos about Cenk's a bitch and he's so dumb. And I'm like, what are you doing? And one of the other.
So this right here is where the woke loyalty test goes nuclear. You can't even question if it's fair for trans athletes to compete in women's sports without being labeled ignorant, hateful, or in need of re-education, like Cenk said. And Cenk is learning the hard way, to be honest, that once you step out of that line, they don't debate you no more. They disown you. They forget facts, forget the nonsense. You either repeat that script or you're out. And what's wild is Andrew Schulz doesn't even have to push back. He's just listening because Cenk is just unraveling his own argument.
Host had attacked her years ago, right? And that was Jimmy. And I was like, Jimmy, you're not allowed to do that shit, okay? I will take you off the fucking air if you say one more thing about Francesca, right? Sam Cedar used to be part of the General Network, not an employee, but like was related in some way. He used to hit Jimmy, and I stopped him from coming on air because I'm like, guys, just say your opinion. Right. You don't have to say the other guy's a dirtbag, right? You can say the other guy's 100% wrong, right?
But don't talk about
Insult each other.
But don't insult me personally.
Yeah.
And so now, no, radical left like hates me. And it's not radical as in far left. Yes, some of them are far left. But now that a lot of the old moderates, the ones who thought Biden was young and dynamic and Kamala was a perfect candidate and Hillary couldn't lose, they've become radical. Because they'll be like, oh, if you say Trump was right to not attack Iran, you say Trump was right. I fucking hate you. You're a heretic and you're canceled, okay? And I'm like, what? I can't, wait, we don't want to attack Iran,
Yeah.
right? Don't attack Iran, Why is that wrong to agree with him on that?
Have you studied what happens to?
No, that empowers them. Have you talked to the right wing? They hate that I talk to the right wing. They hate it. They're like, oh no, if you go on there, you just have to yell at him. I can't believe you went on Tim Pool or Patrick Bet-David or Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to call him a Nazi and a racist. And if you don't, they think that all 71 million people that voted for Trump are all racist.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, guys. A lot of them at the outer edges, the radical right are, right? But the ones closer to us, a lot of them voted for Bernie earlier.
You know what's so crazy? I hate.
And there it is. Cenk literally says people hate him because he's agreeing with Donald Trump on not starting a war. I feel like we reached a point where peace is controversial if the wrong person is supporting it. It's not about truth anymore. It's about tribal loyalty. You can't even acknowledge when the other side gets something right without getting tossed to the wolves. Like, here's the irony. Cenk built his brand on saying don't obey, but now he's the one expecting blind obedience from his audience, his team, and the entire left. Andrew Schulz didn't even need to shut him down. Cenk exposed the whole problem by just talking.